welcome back. So what I want to go over is the first X-Men movie. I guess just because for like the past week I just been watching so many X-Men movies. So I figured let's just start off by the first one. And yeah, the plot of the movie is the government, especially the senator, is trying to register all the mutants all over the world just to keep tabs on them and make sure they don't go off the walls. And now you have one group of mutants and the X-Men colliding together into this movie. So it really has a really great opening. It was taking place during the Holocaust, and one of the mutants ends up being Magneto, and it shows why he has such a disdain for humans, because he went through a period of time where humanity was at its very worst, and you honestly understand it and empathize with him on why he has such great disdain for all humans. He just thinks they're all alike and they just want to get rid of mutants. And he also thinks mutants are the next step of evolution, and he wants to evolve and make it where everyone's just mutants and just get rid of all the humans. We also have Charles, where he's running a school for the gifted, which they are called the X-Men, and he's trying to show them how to hone their powers and how to help others and to live better in society, and just to live his ideology into them where humans and mutants can live in peace and stuff like that. We get introduced to two new characters that's kind of introducing us, the audience, to this world. First off, we have Rogue, and she gets introduced by her kissing her boyfriend and pretty much almost killing him. I guess because her power is to pretty much take all their energy into the point where they will die. So she can't have physical contact with anyone. That's why she always has herself covered up, always wearing gloves, stuff like that. I think that kind of power would suck. Imagine just giving someone a high five and they're almost gonna die on you. And now you're also getting to see Wolverine. And to me, seeing Wolverine, so awesome. To me, it kind of sucks because throughout these movies, we never get to see him in that classic yellow and blue suit. But at the same time, Hugh Jackman playing as Wolverine is just so awesome. He always brings it into that role. And every time I get to see him in these movies, it's just like, to me, I don't see someone trying to play Wolverine. I see Wolverine on screen. So I think that's a really good addition to the movies. The reason I'm bringing them both together is because when Rogue almost kills off her boyfriend, she decides to run away. And she even hitchhikes, and then she ends up being at this one bar, at this cage, and that's how we meet Wolverine. And that's how they meet up, and she tries to just go on with him and see. And she knows that he's a mutant, so it's showing, and plus he has claws, so that's always helping. Like, that could be her straight up bodyguard, and see where they can go together. But while they're on the road, another mutant attacks, which is Sabretooth. And in the comic books and cartoons, I always love the rivalry between Sabretooth and Wolverine. But in this movie, it doesn't really explore that much. It kind of just shows, throughout this movie, it just seems like Sabretooth just being a nuisance for Wolverine at this point. While this brawl is going, we get introduced to two other mutants, which is Cyclops and Storm. And honestly, seeing Cyclops and Storm, I have like so many different favorite X-Men members, and seeing them too for the first time in live action, I thought that was beautifully done. I don't know why I geek out every time I see that. And they help out Wolverine and Rogue to get out of that situation. And now we're at the school of Charles. And to me, I always think it's weird how after saving Rogue and Wolverine, they right away put Rogue into a class. She literally just got saved by being attacked by Sabretooth, and now she's in class, which I always found that so funny. We're getting to see Wolverine meeting all the X-Men. We're getting to see him meet again with Storm, Cyclops, and Jean Grey, and Charles Xavier. And at this point, Charles even gets in his head, is even showing him there's a mystery to Wolverine, because he doesn't even know where he came from. He doesn't even know anything really. He lost some of his memory. He doesn't even know why he has these claws. He doesn't know much about himself. The only thing he knows is that his name is Logan, and he has these dog tags that have Wolverine on it. So he's trying to, for years, I guess he's been trying to puzzle together like where he came from and what he's about and all this stuff. And maybe being with seeing that now he's dealing with Charles and the other X-Men, maybe he could find a reason onto his past. They even start having this little triangle between Wolverine, Jean Grey, and Cyclops, and that's a classic triangle that's been done so many times in cartoons and the comic books. And to me, I was really liking it. I don't know why, but I think it would have been a lot better. We could develop more Cyclops. Yeah, I get it. This is the first movie, so I kind of give it a pass for it. So it's like we get to see Cyclops, but we don't really get to know that much of him. But I mean, this is just the first film, so I will give that a pass. But right now, we're also dealing with Magneto's plan, where he's trying to power up this machine to wipe out all humans, and the X-Men are trying to stop that. I want to say, I think for the first movie that came out, even in 2000, for a superhero movie that came out in 2000, I think it's a really great start, especially for an X-Men movie. Before we got this movie, we were having like a couple of Batman movies, a couple of Superman movies, and by then a lot of them kind of sucked. So the fact that we got an X-Men movie in 2000 and it was actually pretty solid, I think that's just a great plus, and it starts to show how we start off to getting now we're having like so many superhero movies and they're actually pretty great for the most part. For me, I grew up watching the X-Men anime series, so the fact that I was getting to see Wolverine, Cyclops, Charles Xavier, Jean Grey, and so many other characters come to live action and being portrayed well, I think that's just really great to it. And that's why this movie really holds up to now in 2020. The perfect movie? No. There's still some flaws with it. Like some of the effects, it's kind of outdated, but at the same time, it's from 2000, so it's not terribly bad, but it's still outdated. Like there's moments where someone's getting pushed back, and you could tell they're getting, they're like on a wire, and they're just like that's how they're like flying through the air. So there's moments like that, and then there's also moments where dealing, especially with Storm and Rogue, where their accents are there sometimes, and then and there's other times where they're just talking regular. So it's like sometimes they have their accents and sometimes they don't. So it's kind of just like, to me, I'm not really like, oh, they need to have accents because that's what they have in the comic books and cartoons. But to me, it's just, I feel like if you're gonna go for it throughout the whole movie instead of just like, oh, just only here and there, if that makes any sense. Themselves, I wish they were more colorful and more comic book accurate, like from the cartoons and the comic books. But for this movie, I think it looks alright. To me, it doesn't really bother me as much as it does like a lot of other people. But to me, I think they look pretty cool. It kind of just gets more tiresome looking at movies later on, especially when we start getting movies like the Avengers and the Justice League and stuff like that, where all these other comic book movies we're getting more comic book accurate suits, and even like now we're seeing these where it's just like, well, they're just jumpsuits, black jumpsuits, and they're all wearing the same ones. And I could see why, but for this first film, I would honestly give it a pass, and it honestly doesn't look too bad. I really do like it. I guess just cause at that time they couldn't figure out how to. They're trying to go for a serious film, and yet they didn't want to go with just Wolverine wearing all yellow suit, Cyclops wearing all blue and yellow suit and stuff like that. So I could kind of understand why they didn't go that route. The movie is Magneto. Magneto, I really love this character. He's one of those first villains where he wasn't just a villain just for the sake of being a villain. He came from a time where he witnessed the worst of humanity. So you understand where he's coming from and what's driving him to this point. So I think that's just really cool that you could see a villain's perspective and see why they are what they are. Instead of like these movies that we had beforehand where it's like villains are just villains just to be villains and just want to take over the world. I think that's what's cool. Like he like they brought more complex to his character from the source material. So I think that's a really great start. And Magneto is one of my favorite villains into films of all time, to be honest. Getting to see the Brotherhood of Mutants facing off against the X-Men, I think that's just one of the things I really love. Like having Sabretooth, Magneto, Toad, and Mystique going up against Wolverine, Storm, Jean Grey, and Cyclops. To me, I just love it. I think even though some of the effects when they're fighting each other is kind of like weird, and it's kind of weird how Toad's going up against Storm and Jean Grey and Cyclops, where they could easily destroy Toad like that. But to me, it's still pretty cool seeing these characters like battling it out. I don't know why. I just really love it just because I'm seeing all these different mutants that I grew up loving seeing from these cartoons and all that to live action. And to me, I think that's just what I really love about this first film. For me, I will have to get the first X-Men movie a solid 8 out of 10. And you should go out and buy or rent. You just need to go out and buy it. For the next time you guys are gonna see me, I'm probably gonna review the second one, and there's a total of 13 movies, including the Deadpool and the new one, the New Mutants that just came out the other day. Literally just bought it. So we're gonna go through each one, and I maybe give it a ranking afterwards. But I figure, like, since I was watching all the X-Men movies, I figure I just go and review each one. To me, it's one of my favorite franchises. And to me, it's just one of the things that I think people should go out and watch. Yes, there are some stinkers in this franchise, but I feel like out of 13, there's only like 2 that are not that good to me anyways. But honestly, go out and watch this first film, and I hope to see you guys next time. Make sure to like and subscribe. And yeah, like I just said, see you guys next time.